All right, so it says we are live. So I'm sure in about a second people will confirm that they see us. Do, do,
Hello, Gun
do, do,
Nation.
do, do. Yeah, let me get comfy. So that must have been the thingamajig going off, right?
Yeah, it's kicking. There it goes. Yep, seems to be working.
All right, everybody.
So,
So apparently we are live.
how you
So
doing,
how's
man?
everybody doing out there? I'm doing good, man. Just busy working. The usual stuff.
I hear you.
The usual stuff. What have
Same
you been up
here.
to?
Uh-oh.
Yep.
Shooting with Uncle Dan saying hello, Glock Nation. I don't know about all that. Gun
Yeah.
Nation. Any gun.
All right. So really quick, I am going to be scrolling a banner on this chat tonight, and so why don't we put that up now?
Okay.
Hopefully, if you've not heard, unfortunately, there has been another loss in the gun culture of YouTube. Mr. Holster unfortunately lost his battle with the Big C. So, if you guys have not checked out the Crazy Scotsman, check out his YouTube channel. He was doing a fundraiser to raise some funds for him while he was battling cancer. Unfortunately, he did lose that battle. However, he's still, I believe, collecting money. Obviously, he left the wife behind and everything. So, if you can support that and help out, please do so. If you can give $1, give $1. If you can give $10, give $10. But either way, it is for a good cause. And unfortunately, it's another loss, not only to the gun culture of YouTube, but also just of people who have been battling cancer and are, unfortunately, being overtaken by it. So that's that.
Yeah, and it leaves there's family members that have to go on and have to, pay for all of this and continue to, survive. So anything you can do definitely be a help.
Yep. All right. So we'll keep that scrolling for a little while. Take it down, and I'll put it back up before we leave, just so people can see it and be reminded of that. So, hello everybody. Good evening. Welcome to another Wednesday night of Two Guys Chat on my channel tonight. And so far we have 39 people. So we'll do a very, very quick shout out to all of you who have shown up so far. So let me take a deep breath, and we've got Double B, Shooting with Uncle Dan, C. Kim, Nick Rodriguez, Pistol Pete. Let's see, I got you already. George Washington, hello, Mr. President. Let's see, and happy birthday to you, by the way, George Washington. Art Imla, Ranger 10 millimeter, Meathead. He's new, I haven't seen him before. Let's see, Scott P79, and I'm scrolling. Did I miss anybody?
Channel Cat Chaser.
Oh, music is there. Triple C. Hello, Mike Baker. IBG. He's at the range right now. Sweet. Red October is here. I'm not Will Rogers. Hello, sir. G-Man. Hello. And if I missed anybody, Rudy, how are you? Kelvin. And if I missed anybody, my apologies. We try to do our best. So hopefully everybody is doing fine. Again, it is pretty cold out up here, but it's going to be warming up to a whopping 50, I believe, on Friday. How's the weather down by you in good old Texas?
We are cool. It's like in the low 40s, mid 40s, and raining. But I mean, it's we're supposed to have it for a couple of days, and then hopefully we'll warm back up. But it's Texas, man. You can blink your eyes and stuff changes. So
yeah, I hear
it'd be
you.
a good time to be a weatherman because you can guess and still have a job.
Parts by Teddy. Hello, sir. ND Irish, Ohio Gear Guy. Hello, 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 everyone.
Dexter.
So we don't really have a set agenda tonight. We were actually talking before we went live to kind of discuss what we want to talk about, but we don't really have anything in particular. So, if you guys have questions or anything, just let it roll, man. We will answer questions. We are not asking for super chats, although that would be great. But we don't ask for them, and you don't have to give us anything for us to answer any of your questions, albeit the answers may be 100% wrong and completely biased. We will do our best to answer them. So, obviously there's a lot of talk in town about a lot of the new laws and everything that was going on in Virginia. I know there's been a lot of videos. People are making them. Coda Boy, Johnny's making them, so there's a bunch of videos out there. They're very all informational, very good. Obviously, the latest bill was brought down back to tabling, and eventually the committee will have to look at that again and reissue if they choose to. But it looks like right now, Virginia has gotten a plea or a safe, whatever the hell you want to call it. I don't know. But what are your thoughts on that, Big Johnson?
Well, I mean, I think it's great what happened. However, I think you've always got to be on your toes with any of this stuff because you never know. Stuff pokes up overnight, and they could try to reintroduce something else. I won't say that it's over. I'm glad that so far it's a win, but I wouldn't call it a complete conquest yet because you never know. So that's kind of where I am on it. I think that we're all going to have to keep on our senators. Just keep emailing, keep all of that going on to let them know that. I mean, they're not just going to choose what they do for us, or I know they want to, but that's not the way it works, man.
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously Virginia was kind of like the battleground of all states at that point. Um, I guess we're going to wait and see what happens next and what they're going to propose. It's going to be interesting. I wonder if they got an idea that maybe this wasn't the smartest political move because there was such a backlash against it, not only in Virginia, but also nationally from people, from gun advocates
Yeah.
and that type of thing. Obviously, we were talking about this before, but even California, Connecticut right now has just put on as a bill to be passed by the legislature a sales tax on ammunition at 35%. So now, of course, that's a way for them to control guns and shooting and everything else by eliminating ammunition. So I'm sure there'll be a run on ammo at some point in Connecticut. But I mean, that's crazy. 35%. You figure if you're paying $20 a box, let's just say you throw it out there, $20. What is that? 35%. So you're looking at $6 and
Six.
$9.
Yeah.
$9. So
Yeah.
that's crazy. So now every box of ammo is a $30 box.
Yeah. I mean, uh, uh, but yet, you can get free plastic forks and knives. And I mean,
Oh,
anything
yeah.
can be a weapon. Anything can be a weapon, like we've said before. I mean, it's not guns, it's not ammo. That is not the problem. There are bad guys, and we have to be able to defend ourselves as good people against the bad guys. God forbid, I mean, we have car insurance. If you don't wreck your car, you don't use your car insurance. Okay. There's going to be many, many times you don't have to use your gun. Man, it's just,
I think also one of the things too, it's kind of stupid. I was at Home Depot this past weekend and in Orange County, New York, they passed a plastic bag ban. So I went into Home Depot and I had to buy a couple of things for my house. So I'm standing up front, I do the self check and I ring myself up. I look at the lady, I go, "Do you have any bags?" She goes, "Oh, no, they're all banned."
mhm.
And I'm like, "What?" And so, yeah, so no more plastic bags. So I didn't even have a bag. I had to carry all this shit in my hands.
Mhm.
And so I was dropping everything in the parking lot. And it was funny because the lady made the comment of, that's your King Cuomo for you, and it's kind of
Mhm.
interesting because that's what states like New York have been dealing with. And it just gets more and more of an overreach. Even plastic bags have been banned.
Well,
Um,
Austin passed that many years ago. No plastic bags. So you go in a convenience store, if you buy a whole bunch of drinks for your crew or whoever your guys are, you're walking out like this, and you're right, you're dropping them and doing everything else. And of course, at the grocery stores, they push the recycle bags, or you can purchase brown paper bags, but you know, I mean, they've had that forever. Um, because they say that plastic gets everywhere and stuff, but
right,
yeah, I don't know.
whatever.
It's just more
So,
control. It's just more control of everything. It's just all a
yeah,
control thing. Period.
Ranger 10 millimeter is saying Virginia still passed 12 round mag law and can only buy one gun a month. I don't know if that passed either. I thought that was on that bill. So I don't know if that passed. I mean, I'm not in Virginia, but I'm fairly certain it did not. But somebody may be able to correct me on that if I am wrong, which I probably am.
Yeah, Ty J is asking how the hell do you rake up your leaves? You have to actually buy. They're like industrial paper bags. Home Depot and stuff sells them like construction bags, and that's what you put your leaves in. So
And of course, this is a very ironic statement. We don't have plastic bags, sir, as clerk sips water out of her plastic bottle, and that's 100% correct. So they had a refrigerator next to the register filled with plastic water bottles, plastic soda bottles, but you can't have plastic bags.
Red
So
October's asking if I'm in Austin. No, I was just there, gosh, last week. So I go there quite a bit.
yeah. Oh yeah.
But
So Pistol Pete is saying he thinks that the one gun a month actually passed. Oof.
hmm,
I mean, it's just I don't you can't even like have a discussion about it anymore because they're so stupid. These laws are just stupid. They don't make any sense.
Hmm.
So the person who's legally buying a firearm, who probably won't commit a crime anyway, is now going to be banned from buying more than one. But that does not stop a criminal element from going out and buying several a month. I'm not certain that that makes a lot of sense, but I could be wrong. I could be 100% wrong on that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just,
Crazy.
I mean, it's complete, it's a complete control thing. Bloomberg threw a bunch of money into Virginia and pretty much got that governor elected or helped him. And I think, there was a lot of blood money there. And it was like, you get this passed, you do this, you do that. You're going to be the shining star example that I'm going to set
Mm-hmm.
and all this stuff.
Sure.
And it failed. Now Bloomberg, I mean, you hear him, preaching all this gun stuff. And even listening to these people when they start talking about it, and we've been over this before, these people have no idea from a shooter's perspective or anything as far as how a firearm even works. It's clipazines in the revolvers, and I mean you hear all kinds of just goofy, ignorant stuff, and it's like if they even had a clue about what the hell was going on, but they don't. They just keep spewing the same regurgitated garbage.
Right. And I think that's the whole point of having a nanny state is having, government officials tell you what you can and cannot do, what you can and cannot eat, oh, we need to ban cows because they're farting too much. So now you're all going to have to eat like, soy or whatever you eat in, in those diets. I don't really know. And it's just getting worse. I posted that thing today about New York State and New Jersey being the two leading states in the nation right now that have the largest population drops. And I mean, is anybody surprised by this? I'm not. I'm not surprised at all. You look what's happening in New York as a whole, and I've always said, and I mean, we can go back years, Big J, where I've always said New York and California are the epitome of what's going to happen to all of you if you don't smarten up a little bit. And it's true. Everything's starting here, and in California. So whether it's guns, whether it's this or that, you just have to look at us and see how the state is being destroyed. Day by day, hour by hour, we've lost so many rights here, and the people who shouldn't have rights are getting them. It's insanity here, man. It's totally insane.
Well, we got
thank you, Tugboat.
Yeah, $5, awesome, man. Appreciate it.
Anthony Lamastro, thank you, sir. So we got to answer this. I have the first 320X compact. The newer 320 RXP seems to fix some of the negatives. Worth trading up for it. It depends. I know that the RXP you'll have that co-witnessing ability and stuff. For me, you guys know I have the X-Carry that was that professional series that everybody doesn't think exists, but it does. And I love it. I mean, I think it's worth it. I like the idea of co-witnessing. I think that's a big plus. I would recommend it if you can get a good deal and get a good deal on your trade. Why not?
And if you can't, just get you some co-witness sights. I mean, if you already have one that's milled, you don't necessarily have to get a whole new gun just for that.
Sure. But I would do it.
You've got another question. If you could only have one CZ Shadow 2 or similar price 1911.
Well, I don't own any 1911s and I don't own a Shadow 2.
But you've shot 1911.
Let me ask you this.
You've shot a Shadow 2.
Yeah, I've shot both. I've shot both actually. If would we consider the DWX compact a 1911 or a 2011 or whatever you want to call it?
Kind of a hybrid, but yeah, I mean, it's got the
all right, then I would go with that.
Trigger.
I would go with that one instead. Can I do that? I'd rather do that.
Of course, 1911 is going to have a single action trigger. Shadow 2 is double action, single action. So really, the DWX would be more comparable to a 1911. However, out of those two, if I could only pick one for capacity and kind of having a rail space and a kind of a do-it-all gun, I would go with the Shadow 2 out of those two. I love 1911s, but out of those two, I would pick that. Now, if it was a 2011 and it had a rail and stuff like that, then it comes down to if you want a double action, single action, or a single action only. So it would kind of be your call as long as the capacity was the same, the rail, and all that good stuff. So.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. So Havoc 813 has a question. He says, what dollar amount is just too much in y'all's opinion for a pistol? What won't you pay? So I'm the cheapest of both. So we know that already. But I'd like to hear what you would consider kind of your maximum? Like, what would you say is your maximum amount? And then after you've passed that, you're just not going to pay. What would you say?
Honestly, probably $5,000. Was my,
I'm
well,
sorry.
well, I mean, I'm
Holy
being serious.
smokes.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm being serious. I've had some expensive 1911s and stuff, but I would probably say $5,000 because you could do that on a competition 2011. You could do that
Right.
on, you could get pretty damn close, tricking out a Shadow 2, making it optic ready, and the full
Right.
kit, the bushings, and everything. It really comes down to what you particularly want. I mean, I've seen guys that take Glocks and literally have $300 to
Yeah, right.
$3,200 Glocks. So
Yeah, you're right. No, you're absolutely right.
it's not even a steel frame gun. And I mean, they just got every single bell and whistle on it. And of course, you get into ARs, and it's much higher than that. You can just blow it out of the water. So
Right.
I would say $5,000, and it would have to be a gun that I'm just, it's going to change the world. And I haven't found one yet, but like the Alien, I know that it's expensive. I don't know if, I know that it's a revolutionary setup and stuff. I just don't know if it's between that, like a 2011, some custom guns. I don't know if that's the end all do it all either. I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah. I mean, it depends on stage of life for me at this point. I got the 2 kids still. They're not even in college, or whatever they choose to do at some point in the next 5 years. So for me, right now, my budget is low.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, when they finally get the hell out of my house and move on in their own lives, that would change. But I mean, it's going to depend on gun, I guess. In regards to what is it? Is it a rifle? Is it not a rifle? Is it a pistol? I mean, even pistol wise, I'd say for me, maximum is maybe 1,200, and then I'd have to have a really good reason to buy it. Because I'm cheap. I'm not gonna lie, I'm cheap. I'm kind of one of those people who believe in more, quantity versus quality, I guess. But at the same time, it's hard to even argue that because there's so many good quality guns that are cheap. I mean, there's no limit to the market in the way I look at it. It's because everything that's out there right now, with some minor exceptions, they're just good. I mean, there's not a lot to really complain about on any gun. I mean, we've shot a ton of different guns. I have, and I mean, some of them are really cool because you just meld well with the gun, and then there's other ones that you don't, but are just as good. And if you did, you'd keep it. So I don't know, man. I think it's just so many good options that are on the cheap right now. It's hard to justify the expense. I think it would have to be something that is unique. I know the DWX is one I would love to own, but it's going to be way out of my price point. I thought you're probably going to be able to find us for like $1,400, I guess. So
yeah, well, they're starting out at $1,799, but that's also going to be the initial. If they produce enough and the demand takes off, I could see the prices go down a little bit. But Dan Wesson prices really don't ever go down. I mean, if so, it's $75 or $100. It's not $300 like some guns, or $400. Hell, Springfields will come out and then 2 weeks later they're half price.
Right.
So, I mean, you just
now let me ask you this: if you could, let's say you had free reign on making the ideal handgun, what do you think you'd create? What would be your creation of a handgun that meets all the quality and components that you'd want? It doesn't matter manufacturer wise or whatever. Like, what would it be for you that would be the best that you could create and start from scratch? So whatever it is, it's a clean drawing board. You have a right to make your own gun. What would be some of the things you'd want to look at?
Well, and I said this, if you'll remember back, I said this a couple of years ago. If I could take a 2011 and I could take a Shadow or a Shadow 2 and mold them together, I think that would pretty much be the perfect scenario, because you're getting a single action, great trigger, you're getting capacity, you're getting, a rail. The only thing is I would make, and basically it's coming, is the DWX. However, I would just make the DWX have an optic cut, to where if you want to use an optic, fine. If you don't, that's fine. But I think they're pretty much hitting that thing right on the head. It's not necessarily a copy. A lot of the 2011s, like STI and all the other companies, they're kind of on the same platform. There's different quality and bull barrels and, things like that, but they're all pretty much the same kind of, just, quality wise is different. But this one's kind of, it's just a little bit of everything, or a lot of those two, and it's at a lot better price point. So what about you?
Yeah. I mean, for me, if I could do it, I'd want obviously something extremely ergonomic. There's, to me, the two best ergonomic pistols, I guess polymer wise, obviously Steyr for me is probably the most ergonomic. I would like something designed around that platform, but I'd want an aluminum gun that's striker fired. That's what I want. I want an aluminum striker fired handgun.
So you want a Hudson H9?
Yeah, I mean, I don't look, the Hudson, I don't think was really a bad concept. Obviously Walther has the PPQ, SF, whatever 4-inch.
Yeah.
I just wish they would refresh it. I really do. I think they need to modernize it, make it a little bit sleeker. But like, to me, that's something that I haven't seen, and it's not around, and they're not very available if they are. And that's one that I would like to have in the arsenal, so to speak. Yeah. I think the only downside with the Q4 is the fact that, or the SF, whatever you want to call it, I think it just needs a refreshing. I think Walther's getting a little bit long in the tooth with some of their designs. I mean, you look at the PPS M2, very, very top heavy. You guys know that I love the CCP M2 so much and M1 because they're such fantastic guns. But I just think a little refreshing would be nice for that. But I think an aluminum framed, steel slide, steel barrel, striker fired handgun, that would be something I'd be totally into.
Well, and that's what he's saying is, where did it go? He was, I think it was Brian. He was saying the Q4.
Yeah.
And I mean, that would be a good option. The only thing about the Walthers, and like we've talked about before, and just what you said, they definitely need a refreshing. And I think they need to bring down that slide and slide height. And we've said that about the SIGs forever too, but they continue to sell. Yeah. So, people get used to them, and they kind of, a lot of SIG owners don't just have one SIG, they have multiple.
So Parts by Teddy, how much did that cost you, just out of curiosity? I can imagine.
Oh, those guns aren't cheap. Yeah.
So Opt Out has said the Hudson is a little flippy with the aluminum frame. Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I think
Kelvin. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, I think that the Hudson had a great concept. And I don't know if, it was kind of space AG, and we were all saying that when it came out. And a lot of people have said, oh, I wonder if anybody's going to take over the Hudson type design and run with it. And honestly, I don't think they're going to. Not that exact. I think that they could use maybe a little bit of ideas from it, but I don't think anyone's going to copy it straight up.
Yeah. Yeah. And, it's funny because prior to this, we were talking about the fact that there really is not much to go ooh and ah about anymore. I think even looking back at SHOT Show, I don't know, man. I don't think it was that great. There wasn't anything that was just jaw dropping, in my opinion. I mean, yeah, everybody was hyping up the Alien, but I mean, like, what else is there, man? I mean,
yeah.
Let's think. I mean, I went shooting this weekend. I had some interesting experiences with those guns that I shared with you. But other than that, it's the same old, same old. It's just, it seems like things have slowed down a little bit. Nobody's really coming out with anything that's really just fantastic. But maybe that'll change. You've got the first quarter of the year, so maybe the second quarter of this year we'll see some new surprises coming out and go from there.
Yeah, and this is like I think Southpaw RX is saying this, about the CZ Custom A01LD. It is a really cool gun. I played with it, held it, done all that. It takes the P10 F mags, and that's all cool and everything. But the way that it's set up, there's really no rail offering. You could cut it and put an optic in it, but that particular gun, you could shoot it in a limited minor, and that's it. I mean, if you're going to shoot it in competition, and as far as home defense, like I said, you can't carry a light on it. And that's where I think that the DWX is better for probably, and plus it's way cheaper. I mean, you could probably get a DWX for almost half the price of an A01, but it's what you want. Like I've always said, there's an ass for every seat. So it depends on what you want and you get. But for me, I think the A01 is a really cool gun, but it's not a gun I would own personally, because I just can't see, and it's not that I can't afford it. It's just, I can't see a place in it, even a collection gun, I just wouldn't do anything with it. It would probably sit and I'd shoot it sometimes.
Yeah, I don't know enough about it to even comment.
Yeah.
I don't tend to go to CZ Custom too much because there's always stuff on there. I'm like,
Yeah.
and I don't tend to tease myself too often. I try to go with what I can get.
Yeah. And I mean, also the
that's where I
TSO, is comparable. It's not exactly, it's single action, but the TSO is a fabulous gun. I mean, I love mine, and it's cheaper than the AO1. So it has a fabulous trigger. I mean, it's a phenomenal gun, but it just depends on what you want, what you're going to use it for.
So this is an interesting question because this is what we talked about over the weekend was, shooting both those guns. So I haven't done the video yet on the sub. I don't know if he means the subcompact because that's really more comparable to the P10S. I mean, they're almost identical in size, actually. I mean, pretty much fairly identical. But I shot both of them. One was good. The other one was good. But there's a weird thing going on. So I'm just going to ask all of you out there who have had experience with the P10S and if you own it and you love it. When I was shooting that P10S, when I was gripping the gun and shooting it, it was sending such an electricity, like just a stinging sensation in my pinky on my strong hand. And it was almost to the point where I was like going, ow, every time I was shooting the damn gun because it was like shooting a bolt of electricity through my pinky. And I've never had that happen before on any size gun I've ever shot on any model. It was the first time that's happened, even on that gun, because I've shot it before. So for whatever reason, my pinky was it was on fire, man, shooting that gun. So I don't know if anybody has any experience with that or not, but it was definitely an odd experience, to say the least, and one that I did not like.
Yeah. This Anonymous X, I just blocked him, so I don't know what in the world's going on with him, but he's spewing a bunch of junk out there. So
yeah.
But yeah, and that's what I was telling you. On a lot of the small guns, you get a lot of leverage from your pinky, and a lot of people don't really realize that. But if you're getting that wedge, and you're using that pinky for leverage, you could, the snappiness or something that doesn't work for you, it could be shooting the electricity through, your pinky, because man, that's what you really crank that gun down with. And a lot of people don't realize how much strength you put in your pinky when you shoot. And if you don't have enough area to really get that pinky on good, or you're getting it to where maybe under recoil, the base pad is halfway between your pinky and smashing on a nerve or something, it can cause all kinds of weird things. And that could be what's going on with it.
It was not a fun pain. It was brutal, man. And like I said, the first time it ever happened, man. But I'll tell you I'll just give you a preview. That's subcompact from the M&P guys. If you like M&Ps and you want something a little bit smaller, that thing is a beast. It's friggin' great. It really is. It's a very good, solid gun. But that's not surprising, man. It's really good. Really good.
Yeah, and I've put my hand on the S, and I mean, literally, I can only get 2 fingers on it. But I think for someone that can get a good purchase on it and that it works for them and they want that small of a pistol, hey, get it. It's again, whatever works. I like the S, the P10S. I mean, I couldn't use either one of these, but I like the P10S better than the Glock 26.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's a bigger gun, and I think it's a good accurate gun. I mean, it's as accurate as you can make it, but it shot great. I mean, I was on point with it, but man, if I'm going to take it out again and see if it happens again, or if it was just kind of a fluke, because I was shooting it side by side with the M&P and of course the VP9 SK. So I don't know if it was just the difference, which by the way, I'm never going to do that again. Too many guns is not fun because you just can't focus on anything. So I got to stop doing that. But that's a whole nother story. But I mean, it's nice. I like it. But if it doesn't change and it still bothers me, man, I hate to say it, but that S may have to go. And I like it. And, unfortunately, the C, I think, is for me probably going to be the better of the two, which sucks because I do like the P10S quite a bit.
I think if you were to shoot the S, for yourself, and you were to put like a +2, and I know you can only have so many rounds in New York, but if you could
I'll just scratch out the 2 and put 0.
Yeah, but I mean, if you could put like a +2, just extension, but maybe no extra rounds just for the length, I think that would help you. But, if you add that much to it, you're kind of getting into C territory a little bit. So, it might just be that.
This is a good question. All right. So we can both answer this. Home range or dream car, which would you pick?
Oh, well, I mean, a range. I mean,
Yeah, me too. I don't give a shit about cars. I'll be honest with you. Those days are over. Like I have a Jeep. I love my Jeep. That's it. That's my dream car. I'm a pretty basic guy, man.
Yeah, I'm a truck guy. You know, I mean, I'd like to have like, you know, the six wheel drive, you know, crazy trucks or something like that. But no, if I could have like an ultimate range in the backyard, that would be it. That'd be cool.
Yeah. Yep. Let's see. Let me put some of these other up. For what is it worth, the TP SF Elite subcompact is a solid performer. Yeah, I mean, I looked at those. I had the SF Elite, which you know was when it worked, it was a good gun. The only thing I don't like about that one model in particular, which again is very Walter-esque, is that the polymer is very wide. It's very thick. I wish they would narrow it down a little bit, you know, because it hits the knuckle a little bit sometimes.
Get you a Dremel.
Yeah, I'll just shave that bad boy down.
Yeah.
You know, I wish I could show the gun that I have on my table right now, but I know we'd get banned for that, so we can't.
Yeah, we don't want to do that.
Somebody asked initially about the 320X carry. I actually carried it the other day. It's a big gun, that's for sure. It didn't conceal all that well, but it was cold, so I had a jacket, so it didn't matter. Definitely not a summer gun, but it carried nice, and I do like it quite a bit. You guys know I put that Wilson Combat grip on it, man, and it feels, I'm going to tell you right now, it feels almost exactly like a Phantom, only with a higher slide height, but it feels like a Phantom quite a bit. So it's pretty good.
I mean, looking at that frame, I could see where it kind of looks like that, you know, a little bit.
Yeah, they did a nice job with it. They did a nice job.
No, how much was that? How much was that? I can't remember.
It was 50. I think it was 55 on the website, but they gave me like a 10% discount.
Well, that's good.
So it's fine. You know, I'll take it.
Yeah, that's good.
Let's see. Havoc is saying, I remember being a noob and taking 6 to 7 pistols at the range. Couldn't focus on anything. How many guns do you take to the range? You know, it was funny because it depends on the excitement level. Like some days I'm so excited to go to the range that I'll take everything I can get and throw it in a box and just take everything with me. And then I get there and I'm looking at them and it's like, what am I thinking? There's no way I'm going to shoot all these guns. And then I wind up shooting them all and I suck about through half of them. And then I say to myself, I shouldn't do this again. So then I started narrowing it down to 2. And then because I got 3 new ones that I wanted to shoot really bad, I took all 3. So for me, I think maximum is going to be 2. Minimal, obviously 1, because you can't go without any.
Yeah.
But I think 2 is probably the max for me from now on.
Yeah, I used to be the pack mule, and I actually had a wagon, and I would throw all the junk in the wagon in my bag and literally pull a wagon in there. And you know, that's the thing, especially if you're going from striker fire to double action to single action, man, you got the whole gamut going there. So you're certainly probably not going to be focused on one trigger. But if you're dealing with like a Glock, a 509, you know, at least you're in the same realm. But yeah, I would be all over the place. So now what I do is I carry my carry pistol on my person, and then I usually only carry 2 pistols. And I've even taken like 2 pistols in an AR if I'm sighting something in, or, you know, just want to throw some fireballs or do something fun. But yeah, I've really minimized it down, and now I'm going to the range with more of a purpose, whether it be, you know, testing, like I just finished that STI, so I had to go and check for function. So it was like more of function, and, you know, then dialing in the red dot and doing things like that. So it's more just not just slinging lead. It's more of a purpose now.
Yeah. And I think that's how you evolve too. You know, I just got so excited, and that's the big problem is trying to, because for me, it's hard right now. I'm so busy with work, and, you know, I've got my daughter who's playing travel soccer, basketball. Her season just ended, and now she's picking up softball in Little League and then softball for the school. I don't know how I'm going to get to all that. My son's playing basketball in the league. He's playing lacrosse this spring. And then I got to figure out a way to go shooting, make videos on YouTube, take a poop if I have to. It's like, you know, there's no way to split it up. And so it's just, you know, you get to the range, and I try to get as much as I can get there. And right now it's been bad, you know, and it's going to show in the video. Like I'm just not shooting the way I want to. I'm not focusing. And it sucks. It pisses me off because I know I can shoot better. It's just a matter of just getting back into it and getting that habit and being consistent. And that's always the key for shooting. You just got to be consistent with it. And even when you take little breaks, you know, it's a problem. And I think that's one thing people should remember is that if you're carrying daily, you really should get to the range as often as possible because, yeah, I mean, it's easy to pull your gun and point it and have a good grip. It's another thing to be consistent with where you're shooting and what you're shooting at. And I would definitely say, keep shooting, guys.
Well, and here's what I'll say to that. Dry fire, dry fire, dry fire.
Yep.
You know, because not a lot of people can go to the range. I know people that shoot once every 2 weeks, once every 3 weeks, but they dry fire every day. So dry fire, I mean, is a really great thing. You know, I've used, and I haven't been using it as much, but I've already, that's why I've got it out, because I'm going to be using the Mantis X a lot more. You know, especially with my dry fire, to work on the correct things. Because man, I mean, dry fire is free. And if it is a Glock, or if it's a striker fire pistol, you can pull the slide back, put a little piece of paper in there just to keep it slightly out of battery. And then it doesn't give you the click, but it will actually give you trigger movement every single time, so you don't have to rack it. And with a dot, you know, you can just dry fire and, you know, go to your targets and things like that and shoot light switches. And, you know, it does help you a lot. And then when you go to shoot, you don't feel as like, oh my gosh, all my fundamentals are out the window. So
yeah, and I think, you know, dry firing only gets you so far. You know, I was dry firing the crap out of that VP9SK, and I went to shoot it, and there's I don't know, again, maybe it's me, but I found that there's a flaw in that gun. You know, it shoots nice triggers. The trigger, in my opinion, is better than the full size. You know, the sights are good, but there's a couple of things that I never really thought about when I had, I think, 17 of the full sizes. I owned at one time. But it's definitely a good gun, but there's definitely some designs on it that I'm not, I don't know, man. I think they kind of missed the boat on that. But again, you know, HK is a pretty arrogant gun manufacturer, so they will never admit that.
yeah.
But, you know, once I make the video, I'll kind of address that stuff. But it shot well. I mean, it was accurate. It's just, it was different, you know, and there was some things about it that I just couldn't seem to get my hands around, so to speak.
Yeah, real quick, I've done reviews on the Mantis X. I think Romans was asking me. On this Mantis X, just real quick, you can download an app, and then you can set it up, and you basically say that you're right-handed. You just push the button. You can go in and put your gun in it if it's not in the system, like VP9 and all that's already in there. But you can put Shadow 2 in there, so it tracks that particular gun, and it will show, like, you know, when you go up and do a trigger press, it'll actually say too much trigger finger or clenching. You know, it actually tells you what you're doing. And it gives you a score. So you can get, like, I think 100 is the best, but if you're really getting good at it, you can stay in the 90s. And every time you dry fire, it actually will, you know, give you a point or points. And then if you shoot 15 rounds or whatever you choose to do, it'll actually average them out. And then it'll show a diagram, because it actually has a gyroscope inside of it. So it's actually pretty damn high tech. And the new one, this is the Mantis X10. I have the old one and the new one. But this one actually you can even shoot it in recoil, and it'll show you your recoil. So it's a pretty neat tool. I mean, it really does give a lot of information.
And this part of our chat was brought to you by Mantis.
No, it's not a commercial, but.
So there's a lot of people making comments, political comments, so we won't go too much into that, because that's when you'll see the numbers of people watching drop through the floor. Yeah. But, you know, they're talking about Bloomberg and Trump and Bernie, and look, you vote for whoever the hell you guys want to vote for. I don't care. You know, just all I ask is that whoever you vote for and whoever wins, you just leave me the hell alone. That's it. I don't want to be bothered. I want you to leave me alone. Don't take away my rights. Don't bother me. Don't overtax me, which you already are. Just leave me alone, and that's fine. Yeah. But we know that that's not the agenda on most of those guys' plates. So it's hard, man. You got Bloomberg, who, you know, a lot of people are looking at that guy. And as a matter of fact, I was at my parents' house this past weekend, and they were actually considering voting for Bloomberg. And I almost walked out of my parents' house. Yeah. I said, "Are you insane?" You know, but there's a lot of tricks with Bloomberg. Bloomberg comes out across as this moderate, and he's not, guys. He was the mayor of New York City. You know, he had some policies, obviously, the stop and frisk, those types of things that were very controversial, whether you believe them or not. It did take a lot of guns off the street, that's for sure. But at the same time, there's a lot of people who are not for that. And then you've got Bernie, who, let's be honest, is a socialist. He's a communist. I'm not into that. I'm not. I work very hard for my money. Yeah. And for those of you who think that people who work hard and make decent money were served that on a silver spoon, that is not my story. My story is the American story. It's about working your ass off, coming from nothing, and being something at some point. Mm-hmm. And I'd be damned if somebody takes that away from me or that opportunity for my kids. You know, is Trump the best? Obviously not. Would I like to have him over for dinner one night? Sure, as long as my wife's not around. But at the same time, you know, I think it would be a fun conversation to have with him. But at the same time, to me, I mean, he's got my vote in 2020. I don't see any other candidate that appeals to me and my likings, but that's just me. Doesn't have to be you. And we can all get along after it.
Yeah, and I'm not going to watch it or anything, but I wonder if they're getting Mike a box to stand on because he was requesting a box.
He's
to
a
stand
tiny
on.
guy, man.
Yeah, I know. I was going to say, you know, I every time I see him, I'm like millions. You know, I just picture him, you know, with like doing the little mini me thing.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, he's a piece of work. Yep, you just dig a
That's-
hole, you drop a seed in it, you put the dirt over it, and you add water, and corn grows. That's all you have to do.
Yeah, and the funny part with Mike Bloomberg is, you know, a lot of people saying, well, you know, he's going to have to raise money. He doesn't. He's already said that he will spend $2 billion of his own money. And just so you know, the guy's worth like from what I've read, he's worth like several $100 billion. So that's basically him pissing in a bucket. That's nothing. So
guess what he gets
he's
to
going to
do?
spend.
But guess what he gets to do with every bit of this money that he is doing this with? Guess what he gets to do with it? He gets
What?
to write it off.
Oh, yeah, because it's a donation to a political campaign.
Yep, every bit of it.
So,
So
you know,
you're talking about
yeah.
somebody that won't have to pay taxes. Holy shit.
Oh, I don't think he's paid a tax in his life.
Yeah,
I mean, it's insane.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Okay, but let's get on to other stuff.
Yes, let's move away from politics.
Yeah.
Let me see what else we got going on. There's not much. So a lot of people saying he spent a lot. Bloomberg has spent a lot of money. So yeah, Ty J's saying $160 billion he's worth.
Yeah.
Whew.
Yeah, yes.
He's so concerned about the world. Take that money and you know, give it away to charities that need it.
I think what he should do is he should invest in ammo, buy ammo, and pass it out to everyone. That's what I think he ought to do.
Right. I mean, that's a man of the world right there.
Yeah. Donate ammo and mags
Yeah.
and all that good stuff. You know,
So
one quick thing, and
yeah.
you know, I've kind of joked about it. You know, Bernie's been that his lifelong has just been a politician. But say if he was president, would he actually make it through 4 years? I mean, the guy's like 95 years old. I mean, when I see him up there talk, the first thing that pops into my head is Scrooge from The Simpsons. You know, like, you know, I'm just like, the guy's older than dirt.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see who his running mate is going to be. You know, obviously Bloomberg
is your best friend.
Who's that?
Hillary.
No, that's Bloomberg. Bloomberg is talking about running
Who
with
did you
Hillary.
say, Bernie?
Yeah.
Oh,
That's a fucking disaster.
he's
I'm
probably
telling you.
he'll probably get AOC.
Let me tell you something. If I see Bloomberg and Hillary running on the same ticket, it is going to be a comedy. I mean,
Did you see the
first
meme
off,
on
she's
that,
probably
though?
going to kill him.
Yeah, did you see the meme? That after
No.
if he would be elected, she's the vice president. She's like, oh, he committed suicide. There were 5 gunshots. He committed suicide. Yeah, they're saying, oh,
Yeah.
now she's
Suicide by Clinton, apparently.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I can't believe that this woman is still trying to find power. And the people who get sucked into it, it's insanity.
I know.
You know, just look at the cities, guys. If you don't believe me, look at the cities. Look at the cities that have been run by Democrats and see how good they're doing. That's it. That's all you have to do. Proof's in the pudding, guys. You know, bash Trump, call him a racist, whatever you want. But guess what? Under Donald Trump, we have the lowest Hispanic unemployment rate, the lowest black unemployment rate in American history. So maybe he's not doing it. Maybe that was Obama's plan from, 10 years ago. But at the same time, it's hard to beat that. And honestly, I think, whatever personal problems you have with Donald Trump, they may be valid. I mean, is he a nice guy? Is he somebody you'd want to bring home to your daughter? Probably not. Has he done much for the gun culture of America? In my opinion, no, he has not. But at the same time, he keeps the wolf at the door, so to speak. And I feel like with the other candidates, if they win, we are screwed. And that's it. We're screwed on many levels. Guns, taxes, rights, freedom of speech, the ability to do what we do here now. That's going to go bye-bye.
Yeah. And Ranger, I know she's too young. I was just being a smartass. He's saying that AOC can't run. She's too young.
Ugh.
So
Jesus. She's got, I think, 15 people running against her, just so you know, in her district in the city. 15 people.
Yeah.
Because she's a disaster.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. She's messed up a bunch of stuff.
let's see. Jeff Smurwa,
Mhm.
Smurwa. I believe that's how you say it. 17 or Big J. Have you ever shot trap or sporting clay? I've done trap and sporting clay like once, and it was okay. You know, it was okay.
Yeah, I've done skeet and sporting clay skeet. I've done it a lot when I was younger, and then I've done trap twice. And I'm better at sporting clay. I'm not great. I mean, I'll be honest. The trap was really cool. I mean, they come at you, and I mean, it's awesome. But I wasn't super great at it. I was better at skeet than I was at trap.
So that's good to hear. PR has become a constitutional carry. I'd like to call it a state, but unfortunately, it's not.
Yeah,
So that's kind of cool. So they even got it right there. We can't get it right, but they can.
yeah. There's a lot that needs to change. I started
Yeah.
wondering
So it
today.
was.
Oh,
No, go ahead. I got it. I got it.
um,
Go.
well, Claymore is asking. Started wondering today why CZ has not made an SP01 Tactical Omega yet, and they do make the 75 Omega, but not a
Mhm.
tactical. And the tactical is kind of the old school. I mean, or the non-Omega. It's kind of the old standard platform, and I don't think they're ever going to change it. I mean, it's a great platform, and you can change the trigger. You could put a 85 combat trigger in it. You can do some stuff to it, but yeah, it'll never have the Omega guts in it. I don't ever see them
Yeah.
changing that up.
CZ is such a weird manufacturer anyway. They come out with these amazing guns and you can't find them. And
Hmm.
then they run, a couple of hundred at a time and then they disappear again. It's such an odd gun manufacturer. I just can't get my head around them sometimes. They're
Yeah.
disappointing sometimes.
Yeah, well, and the closest thing to the SP01, I would say, is the P09 Omega, because you can get that in the P09. Of course, it's not steel; it's polymer, but they kind of feel the same to me with the rail and stuff. But you're getting the Omega trigger, so and I really enjoy the P09. So if that's something that you haven't checked out, you might want to check it out. You might like it, you might not, but it's an option. So.
And on that note, I'd say get a Phantom instead.
But and see, that's the thing about, and it depends on hand sizes and everything else. But for the super thin slide on the Phantom, I have a hard time grabbing it and racking it. I mean, if it had an optic, I'd
Well,
slam the optic back.
I'd say the good thing about the Phantom, out of all of the CZ75 models that I have, in my opinion, is the easier slide to rack than any of the others, probably because of the length of the slide. But I think that's its saving grace. Like it's a super, super easy slide to pull back, which I do like, and it's easy to manipulate, at least for me.
And see, that's the thing, when you go to the Urban Gray, when you get the tall suppressor sights, man, you can grab the sights and you can rack that gun. But with the Phantom, the sights are so small, they're hard to, grab, but you can do it. Oh, I
So
didn't know they
Pistol Pete saying
discontinued
that the
it again.
Phantom was discontinued again. I did not
Wow,
know that.
I didn't. And it could be due to sales. And I mean, it has, what it has going for it. Also, it does take 75 mags, so that's a big plus.
Right,
Um,
right.
but
That sucks. That's a good gun. I still have mine, and it's not going to go anywhere because I like it quite a bit.
yeah,
It's my bedside gun.
yeah. There's people who love it. I mean, if you like it, grab it, man. Isn't the
And then
Phantom, the
there's
plastic one, proof they're stealing or something? Oh, he distracted or took it off. Never mind. Go ahead.
wait, what was that now?
Rabbi Jesus, he retracted it, but he was saying something like something about CZ stealing something from Glock. CZ's been around way before Glock, but not all their plastic guns, correct?
Oh
But
wait, hold on, Rabbi. Isn't the Phantom the plastic one proof they're stealing design concept from? How could they steal something from Glock?
yeah,
It's a hammer fired gun because it's plastic.
yeah,
Shit,
but they've been
it's a
around.
totally different gun. It's much more ergonomic. Rabbi, somebody said you were drinking cough syrup tonight. I believe
But
that.
hell, that thing was around before Glock was even thought about, though, too.
Yeah, well, the Phantom unfortunately was not, but CZ in general
No,
has been.
CZ was though. See you later, Rabbi. He said he's got to get.
All right,
Yeah.
see you, buddy.
There was something for the. Where did it go here? Any thoughts on recoil spring life on a Glock G45? I hit 5,500 rounds and was wondering if you guys would change it. at an interval. What do you think?
I mean, those guns have been tested, tens of thousands of rounds.
Yeah.
And I mean, 5,500. I mean, they're probably hitting the babies. The baby steps are going. Maybe now you're going to start crawling with that gun. I mean, and I'm not saying that about you. I'm saying about the gun. I mean, I have guns. I've had pistols that have had tens of thousands. One of my PPQs I think had around 12,000. My Steyr was getting up there to close to 10,000, and nothing ever broke on any of those guns.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, what I would do is I'd just keep an extra one just in case.
Yeah.
They're not that expensive, so just buy a couple and leave them in a box.
Yeah, and you can also, since you've put that many rounds through it, you're going to know the characteristics, especially if you're shooting the same grain of ammo. If it starts causing issues or the slide starts reciprocating weird or you're not getting the standard ejection that you're getting, then you could consider changing it. But if it's running like a top, I'd just keep an eye on it, make sure it's not breaking down as far as the polymer, guide rod, and keep rolling with it, man. So 5,000 is recommended, yeah. No, I knew that it was, but man, I've seen people go way longer than that. But sometimes you have to be a rebel.
Uncle Dan is saying he's just going to keep plugging away with his Glock 19.
Yeah.
God bless you, Uncle Dan.
If it works, run it.
All right, let's see. IBG 77 in the chat. What are your thoughts on the 43X? I asked this last week, but only one response. If you had to choose between a 48 and a 43X, I'd go with the 43X. Very well balanced gun. It's got a nice grip on it, short slide. It feels, if you have any feelings for the 19X and the 45, then the 43X is your baby. To me, it was perfectly balanced.
Yeah, on those, out of those two, or if I was choosing one of the small ones, I would go with the 48 personally. Just it's a little bigger in the hand for me, and it feels. The 43 still feels, I wouldn't say like a toy. That's what the Glock 44 feels like to me. But the 43 kind of feels toyish, where the 48 feels like more of an actual gun to me. But your hand sizes may differ. The cool thing about it is if you can get those Shield S15s, you can have 15 rounds in either one of them, or 16 rounds, one in the pipe. So, I mean, I think it's a good option. I would choose the 48 though, personally myself.
Yeah, 43X.
Okay. Yeah. I know a lot of people, love the 43 and 48s. I mean, they carry them all the time. That's actually Wielden Well Armed has a really good question. Have you held or shot a Bull Armory SAS-2? And no, I haven't, but I have seen, videos of them. And I think Bull Armory is making some really sweet pistols. I mean, I've been following them on Instagram for quite a while, and they are having an importer that's here in the States. So they're going to start bringing them over. They're already taking orders for them. And I think it's a pretty damn sweet gun. It's like a smaller double stack, and you can get it with a comp or without a comp. You can get it with the Shield RMR cut. I think it's really cool. And then of course they have full blown big race guns, but no, I think they're doing great things.
So I have a question for you and everybody out there right now. Uncle Dan brought the idea up about the Glock and the Glock being a proven performer and all that other stuff. So for those of you out there who have Glocks or Glock fanboys, or even not Glock fanboys or girls, but just fans of Glocks and always have one, if you had to replace the Glock with one gun, what would it be? What would be its replacement forever for you?
You mean if you could only have one Glock?
No, if you had to have a gun and you've had Glocks, but you love Glock. Let's just say you love Glock. That's the gun for you. Proven performer, blah, 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 blah. But if you had to replace it with one gun, and this was it, this was the thing that was going to take away all your Glocks, what would that gun be?
Okay. I know. Do you know?
Yes.
Okay, what do you got?
No, you first.
Oh, I would say the P10C, and I would have at least the +2 on it, personally. So that's what it would be for me.
Yeah. I think for me, it would probably be the M&P 2.0 Compact.
Okay.
I think it's such a good gun.
Yeah.
And then let's see, a lot of people saying
Yeah,
Sig
SIG,
X.
Smith Wesson. Keith is going with the High Point. Yeah.
Great choice. Wonderful.
Okay.
VP9
And
2020.
if I could only have one gun, he would keep a shotgun. We missed TJ's question, or Ty J. We had it up there for a while and we didn't ask it. Do you remember where it was?
No, what he had?
You had it up on the
still
screen.
here?
No, he was asking if you were choosing a Glock. Let me try to remember it. It was a 19X or a Glock 45. Which one?
Oh yeah, the Glock 45 or the 19X.
Yeah, which one would you get?
Man, honestly, I'd probably go with the 19X. I just think it looks cooler.
Yeah. Well,
Same gun essentially.
Out of those two, you have an option on one that you wouldn't have on the other. You could get the Glock 45 MOS. At least you'd have the optic cut. But even if I could get an optic cut 45, I would still rather have the 19X because of that little stupid finger tab at the bottom.
Yeah, I kind of like that. That was a good place for hand placement.
Man, it gives me great leverage on that gun. I shoot it really, really good. And I like it. But I think the Glock 45 is an awesome choice. It fits. When it first came out, everybody was like, "Whoa, who wants a full size grip and a 4-inch slide?"
Yeah, I was one of those.
Oh, I know you were, but also they're not the ones who originated it. Hell, FN had that forever, the full size grip with the 4-inch slide. So that's kind of when I was like, dude, what's everybody squalling about? They didn't freak out about the FNS.
Right. Oh, it's Glock,
Yeah, I know it's something different, but I think it's good to have a full size grip and a shorter slide because a lot of people are concerned about not being able to conceal the grip because the rest is going down your pants, or
Sure.
in the holster. But I think they're both great choices. I just like the 19X a little better.
Yeah. Yep. And they're both, out of all the Glocks that I've owned, I think probably my favorite was the 19X. And why I sold it, I don't know. But I have a 19 Gen 4. And maybe one day I will part ways with that 19 and go back to the 19X. I just like the gun better. Feels better in my hand. I don't care if it's a longer grip.
Yeah.
I'll dress around it. So it's not a problem.
Yeah.
All right. So we're at 8:57. What would you like to part with us? Some wisdom, sir?
I don't know if I have any wisdom, but for one, I appreciate everyone being on the chat. Really means a lot. Y'all bring some great questions and provide us with extra content. So we appreciate it. If you haven't subbed to each other, please do. What I've got coming up is I've got some rifle stuff. Going to be doing some shooting this weekend. Got a couple things coming in. I got something else in that I've been testing. I've been testing some string lights, the TLR7A and the TLR8A, those two flex units. And so I've got a review coming up on that. And there's some good and some bad, but we're gonna give it all. And so far, that's what I have going on. What do you got coming up?
I'm going to be doing the final review on the 2.0 subcompact. Again, I think it's going to be a very positive review, obviously, because it's a really solid handgun. Eventually, I'll do a comparison between that and P10S and the VP9 SK I have to do as well. Blah, blah, blah. I'm trying to think what else. Oh, I also have another handgun coming in, hopefully sooner than later.
Oh,
and it's going to surprise the crap out of everybody what it is. I know you know what it is, right? I told you, didn't I?
Maybe.
Yeah, I told you. So, so it's going to be surprising. It surprised me. I hope it's I hope it's not a massive disappointment. But we're going to find out. I did get news from Caracal. Hopefully within the next few weeks, those boys will be coming back home. We'll see. I've said that I think about 5 times already, but we'll see those again. Got a couple of rifles I got to take out. I got to my Savage that I never even shot yet. It's sitting in my damn safe, so I got to shoot that. I got the Russian SKS that I want to shoot. So those will come down. Those will trickle in at some point. But other than that, we always appreciate you guys stopping in. We actually, I don't know if you noticed the count, but we actually hit over 100 tonight, which I think
awesome.
might have been the first time ever.
Wow, that's awesome.
After 4 years of doing this.
Yeah, and real quick, please go over and check out Crazy Scotsman, like we said, for Mr. Holster to donate to his family, his wife, and our prayers do go out to him and his family. Cancer is a horrible thing, man. I've been through it with family members, and it's horrible, and I wish they'd
Yep.
find a damn cure for it. But you know, we gotta help out people. That's what
Yep.
that's what it's about. So if you can help, please
That's
help.
right.
You know,
And just think of it this way, you know, if everybody here tonight gave a dollar, we'd be able to give another $100. So that $100 could go somewhere, and I'm sure the wife could use it right now. So, you know, do your best if you can. Great. If not, prayers, you know, and just, you know, good wishes and good thoughts. But other than that, thanks everybody. Make sure you check everybody's channels out. Definitely check out the Armsman. He makes great holsters. Harry's Holsters makes great holsters. So there's some good people in here who stuck by us for all these years. Hopefully it will continue, and we will move forward next week with a new chat. Have a great night, everyone. Stay safe, and as always, freedom is never free.
carry on, everyone. Take care.
All right.